There are so many special things about the FIFA World Cup. The trophy, the fans, the coming together of different cultures, the national teams, the different styles, the pure love of the beautiful game. And one last thing many people seem to disregard most times, the match balls. The match balls are so special and have a huge influence on the game. If you ask football players, they'll tell you. Perhaps the Jubelani ball used at the 2010 World Cup in South Africa is the most influential we've had in recent times. And of course, we will talk about it at some point in this video. Let's dive right into 7 things you didn't know about World Cup match balls. Number 1. 32 panels on the balls. Between 1970 and 2002, the FIFA World Cup match balls were known to have 32 panels on them. Those 32 panels represented the 32 European nations. It would typically be made of 20 white hexagonal panels and 12 black pentagonal ones. But it stopped being such a big deal. For example, the Brazuca, the ball which was used at the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, had only 6 panels. Speaking of Brazuca, did you know that? Number 2. Each tournament has a unique name for match balls. For every tournament, the match balls carry a unique name. For example, like we just mentioned, the match balls used at the 2014 World Cup in Brazil were called Brazuca. The ones used in Russia 2018 were called the Telstar 18, while the original Telstar was used in 1970 and 1974. The Tango was used in 1978 and 1982 and on like that. The name of the ball which will be used in the 2022 World Cup in Qatar is Al-Rilia, which means the journey. Anyway, we left out one very famous match ball which caused a lot of controversy when it was used. Can you remind us what the name is in the comments? Number 3. The roundest ball ever. The name of the ball which was used at the 2010 World Cup is Jubelani, and it means bringing joy to everyone. But it seems like that ball only brought joy to Diego Forlan and perhaps the Spaniards. Everybody else hated the ball so much, and it was mostly because it was way too round. The goalkeepers seemed to be the ones who hated the ball the most because of its erratic flight. Julio Cesar called the ball horrible. He said it was like one of those balls you purchase at a supermarket. Buffon said it was inadequate and declared that it was shameful that FIFA allowed them to play such an important competition with such a ball as that. David James of England called the Jubelani dreadful and horrible. And even as viewers, you could see the problems with the ball. It would often spin out of the goalkeeper's hands or make some unpredictable movements or just change its direction of flight mid-air. Most of that was explained to be due to the roundness of the ball. It was just too round to fly in a straight direction. And while that became the bane of the player's existence throughout the tournament, it surely made the 2010 World Cup a little more enjoyable and memorable for us all. Number 4. What happens to the balls after the tournament is over? So we've established that the balls used in FIFA World Cup tournaments are unique. In fact, the balls used in each game of each tournament are unique, as they are personalized with the date and the names of the teams going against each other printed on them. So, as far as official football games are concerned, those balls cannot be reused after that match has been played. What then is done with them? Well, apparently those balls are used for a wide range of things. Of course, some are won by players who manage to score hat-tricks, some are given out as souvenirs to the refs, the host city, the teams that played that match, and even FIFA partners. Some of the balls are taken to the FIFA Museum, while some are presented to the marketing teams of the countries who were involved in that very game. Then those marketing teams will run giveaway promotions to allow fans in their respective countries to win the match balls. Number 5. Balls are made in Pakistan. Pakistan, who have never qualified for a World Cup tournament, are the major producers of World Cup match balls. The 2022 edition is the 3rd straight tournament for which they're producing match balls. Pretty ironic, isn't it? They are 196th in FIFA rankings, but number 1 when it comes to the production of FIFA match balls. Number 6. New match ball technology. The match balls which will be used at the World Cup in Qatar will be absolutely groundbreaking. For the first time ever, the balls will be coming with connected ball technology, which will help the video assistant referees make more accurate decisions more quickly. There will be a suspension system at the center of each ball which has a motion sensor. That sensor, which is powered by a rechargeable battery, will be gathering thousands of data and transmitting them to the VAR in real time. But the feel of the ball for players will not be any different. The balls are being manufactured in such a way that the performance is still seamless. Number 7. An earlier revolution. The 2022 World Cup signifies a new era for World Cup match balls, but long before this, there was another revolution that ushered in the use of modern balls at FIFA's prestigious tournament. Back in the day, between 1930 and 1964, the match balls which were used at the World Cup were brown and made of leather, and they were stitched in a similar way to modern volleyballs. But as TV broadcasting grew, the ball had to be changed because the brown balls were hard to detect on black and white televisions back then. So the Telstar, a ball with white hexagonal and black pentagonal panels, was introduced in the 1970 edition. Since then, World Cup match balls have built on the innovation of the Telstar and have evolved over time into what we now have. Anyway, we want you to get in the comments to tell us what you think of these new tech balls. Do you think they'll help improve the game? Or do you think they'll end up being an absolute disaster? Share your thoughts with us.